Is your deal pipeline full of noise, inflated timelines, and data that nobody trusts? You can fix it, but you might be surprised to hear how.
Welcome to HubSpot Mentors. My name is Semi. I'm with my colleague Tasha.
Terrific, Tasha, and I'm your best friend. I don't know why you get this intro wrong every time.
Anyways, today we're going to be talking everything about...
Really doesn't like that. Come on, messy pipelines, let's go.
Messy pipelines,
yes.
The problems around it, what we found over working in hundreds of portals. So what is it to fix?
Well,
That's the key, right?
The problem here is we have so many clients coming to us for optimizations, and generally speaking, it's one of the biggest issues is their pipeline is a mess. And by mess, we mean they've got hundreds, thousands. I think one I did recently was like 3,000 deals in a pipeline. And okay, yes, some of this is legacy or historical data, I get it, but there is just mess. There's a lot of mess. They're using pipelines in a very funny way. There's no real kind of like ROI on the pipeline.
I blame HubSpot.
Yeah.
They didn't introduce the lead object sooner enough, right?
Yeah.
But now they do, so therefore, moving forward, just use it. Problem solved.
And that's the end of this podcast.
That's the end of the
Thanks for listening. No, but in all honesty, yes. I mean, if you have been following HubSpot for a long time, if you have any idea as to what we're talking about with lead pipeline, which we are going to talk about like in depth in a moment, it hasn't been around long enough, right? So traditionally, we have had a lot of clients come to us, we still do, where they're using a quote unquote sales pipeline like a lead pipeline. So this issue means they're just getting really crappy reporting.
Yeah.
They've got too many people in the pipeline. I think that's probably the best way.
Or simply put, right? They're just brand new to their portal and they're like, hey, I want a simple way to handle everything. So everything that comes in becomes a deal.
Yeah.
Right? And then so that's how I handle everything. But then the business grows, things change, new inputs come in, new channels come in, new partnerships are done. But your CRM is not updated to filter out the noise and only focus on the key things. And that problem creates a messy pipeline.
Yeah.
You can't report off it. You can't you can't understand what's going on. You don't know who's doing what.
Yeah.
Close dates are missing. The amounts are missing. You can't really trust the system anymore. Then what you do, you go back to Excel sheets.
Oh man, it happens all the time. I mean, there's one example of a client that comes to mind a few years ago who are now using the system very well. But when they came to us, I remember them saying, oh, we've got a great pipeline. There's millions of dollars worth of pipeline in there. And I'm like, okay, cool. I believe you. Let's go and clean it up, right? We had to roll out lead pipeline for them. And then when we did, and we officially kind of cleaned up and tightened up their sales pipeline, it actually turned out to be just under $1 million worth of pipeline. It wasn't millions of dollars. So it really highlighted the fact that their sales pipeline was reporting on false figures. It was misleading. It was not accurate. So when we're talking forecasting, when we're talking, what does the year look like for, revenue coming in, it was wrong. It was obviously wrong. And it actually highlighted some really lazy, if you will, salespeople in the team that I don't think are even in the team anymore because they were just putting crap in a sales pipeline.
Yeah, well, if your KPI is to add more pipeline to your portal, and the only way you get leads in is handled by deals, and you get more deals, it's going to look like, hey, I spoke to someone, new deal.
And they were doing that.
I just had a conversation with the coffee guy down the street, new deal.
Yeah,
100%.
So and I think that's to your point. People creating deals too soon. It's corrupting the data.
Yep.
It impacts obviously revenue forecast, days to close reports, pipeline creator reports, your leading indicators. So what we've done to solve this problem, and to be very fair, when HubSpot finally released the lead object, it helped. Prior to this, we used to use lead status heavily, the contact property.
There's still time and place for lead statuses, but
not like the pipeline.
Not like the pipeline,
no.
Right?
So now it's lead pipeline. So we are experts. I was about to say a naughty word there, but we are experts in rolling out lead pipelines, especially for our Sales Pro users that are using sales pipelines too heavily. And so we've just done it so many times now. We've just been doing it eyes closed. So the lead pipeline, it is a separate object.
Yeah, 100%. But before we even start rolling things out in pipeline, I think it's really important, which I'm so surprised businesses don't have this conversation, right? Business owners just trust the salespeople to say, hey, give me more sales.
Yeah.
And have no input on how the process kind of works. Because for someone that just wants to close deals, their objective is to get someone as close as possible, right? So therefore, they've never had the conversation of a pipeline stages. Every action is a stage, right? I spoke to someone, it's stage 1. I spoke to someone 2, is stage 2, right? And so what happens is this pipeline becomes super extended.
The deal pipeline?
Deal pipeline.
Sales,
so it's like 50 stages,
Yeah.
right? Or what happens is start introducing all these different activity markers along the way.
Yep.
And so you can't really report on anything. And they've never had the conversation because they don't know any better.
That's it.
Right? So no fault on anyone else. But it's just a matter of looking at this and going, okay, cool, let me fix this up by having the conversation that I've never had before.
Yeah.
Which is, at what point does a lead become a deal? The $1 million question.
100%. I feel like we've had this conversation in different episodes.
We keep going back to this, but it's like
because it's the hottest topic.
Lead deal.
I've watched clients argue in boardrooms over this conversation. I have watched them not fist fight, obviously, but close to it, with BDMs or SDRs and sales consultants, people basically not agreeing on what a lead is versus a deal.
It's because everyone comes in with their own perspective on what that
100%.
is. Because it's like me, if I'm a sales rep, right, just putting myself in the shoes, I'm like, I want to be able to show I'm doing my job. So therefore, whoever I speak to becomes a deal because, potentially it's a deal. But then if you speak to like SDR, for example, it's like, hey, I need to qualify a bunch of stuff, bits and pieces. Like everyone's objective is a little bit different.
That's it.
The business owner wants to know that the salesperson is doing a good job of it. So they're like, okay, cool, they're doing a good job, right? But all I'm saying is that conversation is not being had, which is super important for the business to then define what that is.
And that's what we do.
And it cannot be that I just spoke to someone and therefore I'm going to ready to sell them. It can't be that. It has to be that I spoke to someone, they have asked me that, hey man, I'm interested in going with you. Let's have a conversation around this. Or they're like, hey, you have booked in something in place and they're taking their time away from their busy schedule and you're taking the time away from your busy schedule to meet and discuss this potential opportunity.
Yeah, obviously there's commercial intent there. And I think, look, you could argue it depends on the business's buying journey, what qualifies a lead to a deal. That's fine. We come into a business, we hear them out, we mediate their internal fights, and then we go from our, 10, 15 years of experience, over 100 portals we've done this in, this is what we recommend, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not, sometimes we lose the battle. Sometimes the clients are like, we really just want to do it this way. And I'm like, that's fine, but I have at least warned you of 100%. X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So we have a different object now, which means it sits completely separately to the deal pipeline.
But it works together.
But they work together, exactly, spot on. So what is it? By working together, it means it associates. So human comes into your system, they turn into a lead, and then we might have 4 or 5, not too many stages, but generally they're umbrellaed underneath new progress.
New, attempted, connected, qualified, disqualified. So 5 stages in total.
So they're generally, that's out of the box, right? And we don't mess with out of the box.
I don't mess with it.
Unless, again, there's a really good use case from a client. The client, I gave you the example about the messy pipeline. I've worked in their portal for 2.5 years. They've just introduced a new deal, a lead stage. Is it
demo or something?
I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I told them not to. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, if you really think we need it. And so at least they knew, right? But that's what I mean. We don't normally mess with the default settings.
It's normally before it's like, it's usually
qualify.
Before you qualify, there's one more thing. For SaaS businesses, it might just be like, qualified or, or demo booked. And then outcome of the demo might be qualified, disqualified, demo complete. You know what I mean? Like something to do with that. Or like if it's some people can bring discovery, for example, but again, different, like you said, different businesses have different requirements. The simplest one that comes to my mind is demo book.
Yeah, 100%. So what belongs inside of a lead pipeline versus what doesn't, Semi, in your opinion?
This is a tough one because there's different frameworks that people would use. I think, mostly is like you have to be able to qualify that person before it goes in. So me trying to reach out to this person, me attempting to reach out to this person, me connecting with this person, me talking about how their life's going is in the lead pipeline. The moment they say, hey, look, thanks for talking to me. I think you were really helpful. I'd like to be able to buy from you or think about something is when it goes off to qualified.
Yeah.
If they don't do any of that stuff, if it's a bad lead or anything, the time is not right, technical requirements might be out of the thing and just don't have the information right then and there, just disqualified. Because it's not the same disqualification as a deal disqualification.
Or a lost deal.
Disqualification. Yeah. Lost deal disqualification has ramifications to your business.
Yes.
You are not going to be able to feed the team, right?
Yeah.
With more jobs because they have lost that deal.
But a disqualified lead.
Disqualified lead is just like they're not there yet.
Yeah, for a reason. Whatever the reason might be, right?
And therefore you might need to speak to them, continue to speak to them, come back to them. There's so many
variations, I think, in this disqualified stage. I do want to also probably just caveat what Semi and I are talking about makes the most sense for, I said before, buying journeys, longer, more drawn out buying journeys. So I'm talking like a month, 3 to 4 weeks. Like if this is probably not great for e-com, right? You don't do a lead pipeline and disqualify or not qualify them for quick purchases.
They just remove the e-com removes the whole. So it's like they rely on marketing to do that stuff, right?
So we're talking our niche, our expertise is considered buying journeys, B2B space,
service businesses,
SaaS, professional. Exactly. So that's why we harp on about this lead pipeline with these stages, what belongs in it, what doesn't belong in it. From a point of, and when just to get a bit tactical on that qualified stage Semi's talking about, is that actually triggers a deal to be created inside of HubSpot.
That's correct.
When the lead comes in and it does its steps, it then gets qualified. That's when the deal is created and the commercial opportunity or the commercial intent begins. Prior to that, think of the lead pipeline as the place where you are really just trying to see if there is any commercial opportunity here.
That's correct.
It's like if you can segment or separate your thought pattern, and this is what we struggle with clients, I must say, because some people are like, every person in my system is an opportunity. And I'm like, well, sure, optimistic. I love that thought. I really do, because I'm the same. But let's get real here. Your pipeline will look like crap later. Yeah. And you're going to be angry at me because I'm not going to have a nice report.
Not only that as well, it's like if you're, and some people use lead pipelines or lead stage itself or lead object itself in incorrect ways. Don't use it for event management. It's not there for that. Don't use it for qualifying people to go to an event. But don't use it for that. It will just be really miserable. You'll hate everything that comes out of it. Don't use it for conversations that you're just checking up on it. It's solely for people that you need to reach out to qualify them to a deal.
Exactly. Your lead pipeline. That's it.
Right.
So if we're telling our listeners something they can do in their portal right now for them to have a quick audit, if you will, I've got one tip, and I'm sure Samim can add to it, is go and open your pipeline, your sales pipeline, not your lead pipeline, your sales pipeline. So go to deals, open it up. Hopefully you only have one. I mean, if you have multiple, that's probably already an indication that something needs to change. And seriously look at some of those deals and think, what are we up to with this one? What's the next step? How long has this been here? Can I really actually sell this person or this business the thing? And is the close date real on there as well? Do you really actually think you can close this deal in the next month or 2 or 3? And if not, if you can't answer confidently all of those questions, there is a very strong chance that that's a lead, not a deal. Now, to get tactical for a second, you can't physically move a deal into a lead pipeline. You'd either have to delete or lose the deal. Unfortunately, which will skew data. So a lot of the work we do with clients is that migration piece, and we do it in a very considered, time-managed approach so that we don't skew reporting. And there's always going to be a funny period of reporting when you do a migration like that, but there is a good chance 30 to 50% of your deal pipeline right now is actually leads and is reporting on inflated, incorrect data.
It's something that you really mentioned, which is super important. I would like double down on that one, is selectively pick deals that are in there and ask the question, what's the next step on this deal? And if you don't have the next step, and the next step is, oh, I need to just call up and see how they're traveling with things, or I need to call up to see if they're available, or I haven't spoken to them yet, that is not a deal.
It's not a deal. It's a lead. We're making your lead pipeline.
So every deal, no matter how long the stage is, needs to have a next action to either follow up, to check in, to see how things are going. Because when you look at your forecast planning side, you need to have at least, you need to have confidence in your data to say, okay, cool. I'm projected to bring in 150 grand this month, 200 grand this month, whatever the number is. I'm pretty confident that, our conversion rates are whatever the amount is, so I can somewhat predict the next things, and that's how you get business stability from your pipeline, from your CRM.
Woohoo! That is how you deal with messy deal pipelines. Thank you, Sammy. I enjoyed talking about this topic more than what I thought I would, not gonna lie.
Honestly, it's a very passionate topic for me because
we do it all the time.
It's not that. It's because it's genuinely a simple fix, right? It's a simple fix if they start with the question and at what point is a lead a deal, right?
It's a simple fix if you have a couple of hundred deals. If you've got thousands of deals in your pipeline, let's be real.
It's a simple fix and it starts with the conversation.
Lot of time. I tend to agree. Sammy made it sound nicer than what it is. I feel like I'm being the more practical one here. That it's there's a lot of deals in this pipeline. This is going to take a long time. I mean, thank God for AI now to help out with the load. But that's it. If your pipeline's probably messy, look at it, question it, listen to this episode. And if you want some help with that heavy lifting, because it's a lot of lifting, I'm going to be honest, reach out to Red Pandas.
Yeah, happy to do an audit.
Sammy's like, I'll just do an audit. I'm like, we'll do it for you. It's fine. We'll clean it up. Thanks, Sammy.
Thanks, guys. Take care.